So let's start with the TypeScript tutorials. TypeScript tutorials. What's the meaning of TypeScript and how TypeScript is different from JavaScript. So let's talk. So basically क्या होता है कि हमारे पास JavaScript है. JavaScript is basically a scripting language. Scripting language. इसका हम इंक्रीज कर देते हैं थिकनेस. यस. सो जावास्क्रिप्ट इज़ बेसिकली स्क्रिप्टिंग लैंग्वेज जो क्या करती है, जो हमारी वेबसाइट्स होती हैं. सो दिस इज़ अ वेबसाइट. सो इस वेबसाइट का स्केलेटन जो होता है, स्केलेटन हम कहते हैं या हम कहते हैं कि फंक्शनैलिटी जो प्रोवाइड करता है फंक्शनैलिटी ऑफ अ वेबसाइट. सो वो हमारा बेसिकली रिटर्न होता है किसमें, जावास्क्रिप्ट में. सो जावास्क्रिप्ट इज़ बेसिकली अ स्क्रिप्टिंग लैंग्वेज जो कुछ फंक्शनैलिटी हमारी प्रोवाइड करती है साइट्स में. सो क्या होता था इन ओल्ड टाइम एंड या मैं कह सकता हूँ पुराने ज़माने के समय में क्या होता था कि जो हमारा JS था वो हमारे स्निपेट में लिखा जाता था. लाइक स्निपेट मतलब स्मॉल कोड्स. स्निपेट्स में हमारा इसका कोड लिखा जाता था. स्निपेट्स में कोड लिखा जाता था जो कि हमारा बहुत कम कोड होता था. तो उसमें हमारी जो डिबगिंग प्रॉब्लम्स होती थी वो इतनी अराइज नहीं होती थी. बट जैसे जैसे टाइम बीतता गया एंड जो हमारा कोड है, जो कोड था हमारा, वो कोड हमारा इंक्रीज़ होता गया. लाइक नंबर ऑफ़ लाइन्स ऑफ कोड, आई कैन से नंबर ऑफ़ लाइन्स ऑफ कोड जब इंक्रीज़ हुआ. सो बेसिकली क्या हुआ कि हमारा जो स्क्रिप्ट थे उसमें बहुत सारे बग्स आए. ठीक है. एंड इन बग्स को आइडेंटिफाई करने में प्रॉब्लम होती थी. सो बेसिकली इस प्रॉब्लम से बचने के लिए हमने एक नई स्क्रिप्टिंग लैंग्वेज तैयार करी. दैट इज़ नोन एज टाइपस्क्रिप्ट. सो टाइपस्क्रिप्ट क्या करती थी, स्टैटिक चेकिंग. जिसकी मदद से हमारा क्या होता था, जो अब हमारी डिबगिंग, जो हमारी बग्स को फाइंड आउट करने की बग्स, अब हमें कहाँ पर हमें रन टाइम में बग्स का आइडिया लग रहा था कि हाँ यहाँ पर हमने कोड लिखा एंड यहाँ पर हमारा बग ये प्रॉब्लम आई. सो इंस्टेड ऑफ कंपाइल टाइम से पहले ही हम क्या कर रहे थे, फाइंड आउट करवा रहे थे किसको, बग्स को. सो दिस इज़ द फंडामेंटल ऑफ जावास्क्रिप्ट एंड व्हाई वी यूज़ TypeScript instead of JavaScript. So in this lectures we will discuss about basics of TypeScript जो कि बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट होंगे. एंड इसमें हम JS भी पढ़ेंगे एंड जो प्रॉब्लम्स हमारी JS में राइज हो रही थी वो भी हम डिस्कस करेंगे. सो आई मेक सम नोट्स. आई एम ओपनिंग माई ओके. सो दिस इज़ द बेसिक्स ऑफ इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ TypeScript एंड इट्स डेटा टाइप. एंड यहाँ पर हमारा सबसे पहले जो क्वेश्चन राइज होता है वो है हमारा, व्हाट इज़ TypeScript. So TypeScript is a programming language built on top of JavaScript. It adds types like number, string, boolean that helps catch mistakes early. And think of TypeScript as a safety net while coding because ये एक static checking हमारी add कर देती है. And why TypeScript is beneficial? Because it catches errors before running the code. हमने कोड को रन नहीं करा, कंपाइल नहीं करा एंड उससे पहले ही हम एरर्स को हम फाइंड आउट कर सकते हैं. दैट्स द मेन फंडामेंटल ऑफ इट. एंड वर्क्स विद मॉडर्न टूल्स एंड बिग प्रोजेक्ट्स. सो दीज आर सम कोड्स रिटन. वी विल रन इट ऑन आवर सिस्टम एज वेल, बट फर्स्ट वी विल डिस्कस अबाउट द बेसिक्स ऑफ TypeScript. सो दीज आर सम स्टेप्स लाइक इंस्टॉलिंग एंड रनिंग TypeScript फाइल. सो लेट्स डिस्कस अबाउट TypeScript डेटा टाइप्स. एज वी नो, we are discussing some. Okay, so we will write TypeScript data type. So TypeScript data type, and when we talk about the data types, that means what's the type of data, like it is a string or it's a number or it's a character or it's an array. So what's the data type? So first we will discuss about some we can say basic data types that we will use on JavaScript, like let, const, and var. These are some data types in JS. But when we extend this data, like when we say let x is equal to string of 10, so as JS decide like x now is a string, but when we say x is equal to 10, it changes to 10. So this is the basic problem we will face on JS. So TypeScript come and say, hey, can we declare like x is basically a string. So we can say that x is equal to, we can discuss in this like the price is number. So we can go and say let x, sorry, let x is basically a number which is 10. So now let x is now a number. We cannot reassign it like we reassign in upper above. So these are some. And similarly we can declare a string, let y is a string, and let's suppose its name is real engineer. Similarly we discuss these things string, and we have another data type which is known as the boolean data types. So let's discuss about boolean. So we have a boolean data type. So as we know, boolean have two values only, like we have true or we have false. So when we say like let x is boolean is equal to true, that means we declare x as a boolean and its value is true. Okay, and so we represent true or false. Then we have array which stores multiple values. So let's discuss about array. Let's discuss about array. So basically let y is basically an array, so we can declare it like this. So we have in this let numbers is number of array, I can say that y is, sorry, that y is numbers of array, and we have 1 2 3 in it. So we are storing a collection of similar data type, values of similar data type. So now we can see it, let numbers is number of array of, and similarly we can declare string as well. So the next part is tuple. So tuple is basically fixed length array with defined types. I can say let we can say we have a person, let us suppose we have a person, and we are storing this value in a tuple. Tuple is basically a fixed collection of data type. We can say we are storing a string and we are storing a number. So it's equivalent to the array of first, let us suppose we have a array, and we have a number is 100. So this is basically tuple. Okay, now we can understand what's the tuple is. And we have another data type. So can store any type. Any type means we have not mentioned like what's the data type of it. So these are similar to the Java JS part, as we don't know about the data type of that value. And then we have, this is basically a function, null or defined, undefined. So these are not good data type. We can say union type allow variable to have more than one type. Okay, so let's discuss about union type as well. Union type, let we have id, and id is storing a string, a number. So we can say we have id is 101, So we can see that id is number as name as array and number as 3. So these are union type, means we are using both. So I think, so we are not defining this like this, we define this as a string, a number. So this session is based on the introduction part and the data type part of TypeScript. We will implement this part in PC and Visual Studio Code as well. So thank you. Let's start with the TypeScript tutorials implementation, and we already discussed lots of things in TypeScript. So let's start with the first implementation of TypeScript. That is, I'm writing a program which is hello.ts. So the first program of TypeScript that we are writing. So that that x is basically a string, and we are defining it hello TypeScript, and this the studio code already suggests some things like console.x. So how can we run it? So for this, basically से रन करने के लिए हम कमांड डालेंगे। सबसे पहले हम कंपाइल करेंगे किसमें, जावास्क्रिप्ट में, एंड देन दैट जावास्क्रिप्ट को हम बेसिकली रन करेंगे। सो वी आर राइटिंग अवर टी एस सी hello dot to s ts, enter it. So hello.ts is now converting into JavaScript part. So a JavaScript file that is hello.js is already created, as we can see. Yeah. Now, now we can run this hello.js. So basically we are node, and I say hello JS, and now it run and show that hello TypeScript. So this is the first implementation of basic code of TypeScript. So the next part is data types in TypeScript. So as we already discussed about some data types, so we are writing number.ts. So we can define that we have a price which is a number 100, and now we can write console.log of price, and similarly we can first tsc, and then we can say number ts and enter. It compiles into JavaScript part, is number.js, and now we can run node number.js and enter. So we can see that price is 100. So basically we define this number data type. So next we have a string, but we already learn about how we can define string in this hello.ts file, and now we will move to the boolean part. So we are defining the boolean part, and I'm making a file, this boolean.ts, and we are defining a boolean. So let that is logged in. So now its boolean is true, and we are finding this console.log is user in. So first convert it into tsc and boolean, Yes, now TypeScript is converted into JavaScript, and we are running this boolean.js, and now is user logged in, and that is true. So we have some more data types like array and tuple. So we are discussing about array in TS. So array.ts, and we are defining a let numbers. Okay, now console.log numbers array, and we can simply convert tsc array. Now it converts into JavaScript part, and we will run JavaScript node array js, and now we can see numbers array is 1 2 3 4 5. So the next part is tuple dot ts. So what is tuple? So tuple is basically a collection of different data types, and these data types have fixed length. So we are defining that person, and यहाँ पर we have string number, and I say, and we can log it this. We are storing a string and a number, and simply we will run it. So we write tsc and tuple, and now it compile into js. Okay, now we will run this js. Now we can see it like person name is Nitin and person age is 21. So the next part, and can store any data time, which is any. So let's talk about any dot. Yes. So we are writing like let a random value any 10. So we can see it like random value have 10, and now we will define random value as string. So we are writing like we have tsc and any, and now we will turn node any .js, and now we can see that random value is 10. And if we again define this console log, then it should be changed. Let's run time tsc any.ts and node any.js. As we can see that random value data type changed. First it is 10, and then it will become Nathan, that is a string. So these are some data types, and we have some another data types which is called union types. So let's discuss about union types. So I'm making a file which is union.ts, and I'm defining a union type. So first we will discuss about this union types. Basically, it allows a variable to have more than one type. Okay, so let's code it. That id is basically a number. It will be a number. Sorry, it will be a number. It can be a number, not will be. It can be a number, and it can be a string. So defined like this. And then we are saying that hey, id is basically 101 and id 202 also. So we can run it like tsc, and we have union, and now it converts into types JavaScript, and we can run node note union JS. Now it shows that ID is 202, as we can define it like number or a string. So this is basically union type. So we have some another data types, which is a type. Type is basically a mixture. So let's discuss about type. And I'm making a file type.ts type.ts, and we are defining, like, we have a type is basically a student. It is basically a collection of information, like students, and as I can name it, like name is basically student and is graduated, and so this is a type. So now we can define that students is one. It act as an interface. So now we define basically a type, a mixing data type, which have some collection of data types, like name, which is return, which is a string, age, which is a number, and is graduated with the a boolean. We are defining it like this, like that students one, basically a students interface of students. Discuss the interface also, and then we console student one dot name, and like this. And now if I will run this, I say first we need to convert it esc type es, and now we have node type .js, and now we can see the student name is Nathan, student age is 21, and is student graduated is true. So this is basically mixing data types, as you can see, type. So our next data type is null or undefined, null and undefined. So let's discuss about null.ts. So null.ts, as basically null means we have nothing or not assigned. So we are writing like user, that user is either a string, and we are not defining it right now. So but in so we can print this as well. So we have null.ts, convert it into JS. So next we will run null.ts JS. Now it can show that user first user is null, because we didn't assign anything. But the next line, so user is become Nitin, because we already defined user as Nitin. So I think these are and we have another data type also, which is undefined. Undefined means that thing is not defined till now. So these are some data types of TS, that is TypeScript. Thank you.